Hello everyone, today let's solve the problem number 1934, confirmation rate. So given two tables, one is sign-ups and another one is confirmations. So given two tables, sign-ups and confirmations, so we have to write an SQL query to find the confirmation rate of each user. So we have to write the SQL query to find the confirmation rate of each user. So the confirmation rate is calculated as the number of confirmed messages divided by the total number of requested confirmation messages. They have clearly mentioned here. They have given formula as well, right? So here the confirmation rate is calculated as the number of confirmed messages divided by the total number of requested confirmation messages. So if a user has not requested any confirmation, their confirmation rate should be 0. So this one we have to keep in mind. This is very important, right? If a user has not requested any confirmation, then their confirmation rate should be 0. Just keep this in mind. So round the result to two decimal places and return the result in any order. So just we have to round the result to two decimal places. Just keep this in mind as well. Two things we have to keep in mind. One is if the user has not requested any confirmation, their confirmation rate should be 0, and we have to round the result to two decimal places and return the result in any order. So we can return the result in any order. You can clearly see here two decimal places, right? 0 0.00, 0 0.00, 1.00 and 0.50. You can clearly see. So here in this case, first let's come to the example here. Just give me a second here. Let me come to the first example here. This is the signups table we have, right? So here we have user ID 3726 and this is the timestamp. So they have given sign up, timestamp and the user ID. So user ID here 3726 and the timestamp of the signups they have given. This is fine. So next is confirmation tables. We have signups table and confirmation table right here. So here you can clearly see user ID we have, timestamp. Along with user ID and timestamp, we have action, timeout and confirm. These two actions we have, right? So first one and second one we have timeout, and the next four, for the next four user IDs we have confirmed, and for the last one we have timeout again, right? So the output here in this case, the output we have here is this one 6, 3, 7 and 2. So here we have to go with the we have to return the user ID and the confirmation rate. So while explaining the question, I have said clearly what we need to find out, right? So we need to write an SQL query to find the confirmation rate of each user, and also what is confirmation rate here? How can we calculate the confirmation rate? Then confirmation rate is calculated as the number of confirmed messages divided by the total number of requested confirmation messages. Here they have clearly mentioned. So how we got this one confirmation rate? We have to calculate the confirmation rate for each user, right? So here in this case we got 0.00, 0.00, 1.00 and 0.50 accordingly with the user ID. How we got here? With the this one, what do we call, with the formula that I have said, right? So formula is nothing but number of confirmed messages divided by total number of requested confirmation messages. So here in the explanation also they have given the same thing. User 6 did not request any confirmation message, so the confirmation rate here is 0. So user 3 and 2 requests and both timed out. Here you can clearly see 3, right? So here user 3 and 2 user 3 made 2 requests and both timed out. Here you can clearly see 3 timed out, 3 timed out in the confirmations table, right? So user 3 made 2 requests and both timed out. The confirmation rate here is 0. Here you can clearly see the confirmation rate here is 0 in this case. Why? Because both are timed out right here. So the confirmation rate is 0 here as well. So user 7 made 3 requests and all were confirmed. You can clearly see here in the confirmation table. So 777 we have, all the 3 are confirmed here in this case, right? So we will be going with the formula, right? So the confirmation rate here is 1 in this case, right? So this is, I hope this is clear. So the final one here is user 2 has made 2 requests, one was confirmed and other was timed out. Here user 2, in this case one is confirmed and one is timed out here. That's what they have given here. User 2 made 2 requests where one was confirmed and the other timed out. The confirmation rate here is 1/2 in this case. Why it is 1/2 here in this case? Two confirm two IDs confirmed here, right? 2 user IDs are confirmed, but two user ID out of 2 user IDs, one is confirmed and one is timed out. So we are going with 1/2 here. In this case, we have 3 where we have 3 IDs or 3 requests out of all the 3 are confirmed. So this will be 3/3 in this case. This will be 1, right? This will be 1/2 in this case. It will be 0.5. I hope this is clear. That is the reason we got 1 here, 0.5 and 0 here. In this case, both were timed out, and in this case, user 6 did not request any confirmation messages at all. So here first 2 were 0, and third one we know how we got 1, and the fourth one we know how we got 0.50. I hope the question is completely clear. So what we need to do is completely clear as well, right? So now first what we will do, we will discuss the approach and then we will write the query accordingly with the question or accordingly with the approach that we have discussed, right? So first let's discuss the approach. So here the first step is we will be or we have to join the signups table with the confirmation table using a left join. So keep this in mind. We have to join, or we will be joining the signups table with the confirmations table. Why we will be doing this one? Using a left join, right? Why we will be doing this one? Because we have to include all users, even those who did not request any confirmation, even those who did not request any confirmation. That is the reason we are going with the left join here. So we will be joining the signups table with the confirmation table using a left join. Just keep this in mind. This is important. So the second step here is, after doing that, we will count the total confirmation request. So while we have to count, or while we have to filter, right? So usually we'll be going with the having keyword or the count that the SQL provides, right? So here you can clearly see we have to count the total confirmation requests for each user. So we will be going with a count of c.user ID based on the user ID, right? So this we have seen in the example as well. This will be easier to understand, I hope, right? So count that we will be counting the total. We have to count the total confirmation requests in this case for each user. So we will be going with count of c.user underscore ID. Underscore ID for each user. This is fine. So here the third point here is we will count the number of confirmed actions. So we will count the number of confirmed actions. In this case, it is sum of c.action equals confirmed. We have to count the number of confirmed actions, nothing but in this case sum of c.action equals confirmed. Here you can clearly see we have to count the number of confirmed actions, right? So for the calculation purpose for each user. So here sum of c.action equals confirmed we will be going with. Just keep this in mind. So this is the third step. After the third step, we have to calculate the confirmation rate as confirmed by total request. This we have seen in the how to calculate, right? How to calculate this we have seen while explaining the example itself. We know this one, right? So this one is confirmed by total request. Just keep this in mind. This is the formula. So rounding to 2 decimal places. They have asked in the question to go with the 2 decimal places strictly, right? So rounding to 2 decimal places using the round. So we will be making use of the keyword round for that. So while we write the query, you will get to know this one. Simple to understand, right? So this formula we know. 2 decimal places as they have clearly mentioned in the question, and round keyword. Why? Because we are rounding to 2 decimal places. That is the reason we are going with the round keyword here. Now I hope this is completely clear. Let's go with the fifth step here. So here we will use if null. So if null keyword we will be making use of. Why we will be making use of the if null keyword here in this case? To handle cases where user has no confirmation request. So this is very important. So here we will be making use of if null to handle cases where user has no confirmation request. In the example we saw, So there were two users in the output itself who had no confirmation requests at all. First user didn't had confirmation requests, and second one for which we discussed, both were timed out, right? So we are going with if null keyword to handle cases where user has no confirmation requests here, ensuring the default value of 0.00. This we saw this one on the example one output, the first one and the second one, if you remember, right? So that is the reason we'll be making use of if null keyword, right? So the final step or the sixth step here is we will group the results by user ID. So we have to group the results by user ID. So in the example output we saw, so here we have to group the results by user ID to get the individual user confirmation rates. To get the individual user confirmation rate, so we have to get the individual user confirmation rates. That's what they have asked in the question. So finally in the they have clearly mentioned we have to group the results by user ID. We have seen the output table of the example one that we considered in the that they have given in the question, right? So same thing, we'll be grouping the result. We will group the results by user ID to get the individual user confirmation rates in this case. So this is the approach that we will be going with. So same thing we will be articulating or we'll be implementing in the form of query. So I hope this is completely clear. So now as we know the approach, it will be easier to write the query. Let's start writing the query. First here, let's select all the user IDs. So here I'll just go with the user, this one, select keyword here. So this one will be start user ID based on the user ID, right? So this is fine. Let me open the parenthesis here. This is fine. So the next step is we'll be making use of the if null keyword. So we have to calculate the confirmation rate for each user, and we'll be going with the if null. We have already discussed this one. So let me give here if null. So let me open another parenthesis here. So also we have discussed we'll be making use of the round keyword as well. Why? Because it ensures the result is rounded to 2 decimal places. They have clearly asked in the question that we have to go with the 2 decimal numbers, right? So here in this case we'll be making use of the round keyword, which ensures the result is rounded to 2 decimal places. Here let me go with the round in this case. This is fine. It's fine. Within the round, what we will do, we will go with sum, nothing but c dot action equals confirmed. We have discussed this one. Basically it counts the number of confirmed actions, right? So let's write that one itself in this case. So I'll just give here sum of c dot action here. In this case, this confirm. This is fine. Confirm. This is fine. So the next step here is we will go with count of c dot user ID. So this one also we have discussed. So we will be making use of the count. Why count? Because we have to count the total number of confirmation requests, right? So we need to count the total number of confirmation requests. So this will be based on the user ID. So let's go with the count keyword here. This one I'll just give here c dot user, this one ID. This is fine. I hope this is clear. So let me give here 2 in this case. After this, what we will do, if null. So we will go with the if null keyword here. By if null, we have went with the if null keyword. Sorry, here this one I'm speaking of if null keyword. So if null basically it ensures users with no confirmation requests have a rate of 0.00. Here this one we are speaking of, the first one mainly. So here this is timed out. User 3 made 2 requests, both were timed out, so confirmation rate is 0. Let's not consider this one, let's consider the first one. You will understand this one clearly. User 6 did not make any confirmation messages at all, so the confirmation rate here is 0, right? So if null ensures basically users with no confirmation requests have a rate of 0.00. That's what will be going. So here that is the reason I'll just give here 0. If null we have made use of, right? If null we have made use of, this is important. If null ensures users with no confirmation requests have a rate of 0.00. That is the reason I have given 0 here. Just keep this in mind. So this one as confirmation rate. So this one as this one will be confirmation rate. This is fine. So this is from this is coming from basically confirmation rate coming from the signups table. So this one I'm speaking of of signups. Where is signups? This one, right? So let me copy the same thing here. So let me write, this is from, let me paste this one, signups SILK. This is fine. I hope this is clear. So next step here is, we have already discussed this one. We will be going with a left join. Why will be going with the left join? Because left join ensures that all the users from signups are included. So we have to include all the users from signups. So that is the reason we'll be going with the left join. Even if they have no confirmations, we have to include all the users from the signups, right? Signups table. So that is the reason we'll be making use of the left join here. So let me go with the left join keyword here. So let me go with the confirmation here. So confirmations, right? So here, this one, confirmation. So let me copy this one here. Don't want to type this one entirely. Let me paste this one, confirmation C. So I'll just make use of on keyword. So here in this case, I'll just go with s.user_id equals c.user_id. This is fine. The final step here is we will group by user ID, basically, which ensures calculations are done per user. So we will be grouping by user ID, basically that ensures calculations are done per user. Again, I'm telling, this is very important. We will be grouping by user ID that ensures calculations are done per user. So I'll just go with the group by this one keyword based on the this one user ID, right? Sign up. So that is coming from s.user_id. So this is fine. So this is it for the this one. What do you call? This is it for the query. So I have missed the bracket somewhere. I don't know. This one as confirm. Just give me a second here. So what I have done here is select user ID. So we have selected the user ID. This has to be comma, not the bracket here. So I have opened extra parenthesis here. This is fine. So let me hit the run button. Let's see. I hope this works. So yeah, you can clearly see here the sample test case is getting accepted in this case, right? So I hope this works. Let me hit the submit button. I hope this works for all the test cases. Let's see. So here you can clearly see all the test cases are getting passed here. Means the code works absolutely correct on this case, right? So I hope whatever the query that we have written is completely clear, right? So for now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.